Hi everyone, my name is Lucas and I'm here to talk to you about the upcoming Xbox One release. And to tell you the truth, I personally am pretty excited. I'm definitely not going to be getting one as soon as it releases, but I'm a fan of Microsoft, so seeing one of their new consoles being released is certainly a boon for me and myself. I'm going to be waiting like the requisite 3-4 months to make sure that there's no major problems with the first release console, and that I'm going to be getting one for myself. And even after the 3 or 4 months, there's going to be more games that are going to be coming out for it. Like Thief is going to be around February, and then South Park is going to be after that, and I think around March, as well as Watch Dogs in March. And there's going to be a lot more games coming out too, because me personally, I'm not really a gigantic fan of the games that are in the launch lineup for the Xbox One. I am a pretty big fan of Dead Rising 3. I'm a gigantic fan. I have all three of the previous games, Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 2, Case West with Frank West as the main protagonist, and I'm a gigantic fan of those games. But that is not enough for me right now to pay $500 to get an Xbox One. And I don't really see how that with Rise and Forza as the other two launch titles that are there, as the other two launch titles that are there, is going to be enough for anyone else either. Yeah, it's good to have a day one. It's good to be able to tell your friends, I got it day one! I got it! I'm going to be able to play the Xbox One goodness after day one, and it's not really my thing just to be there day one and being able to play it, but for some other people, yeah, and that's their thing, not mine. That's theirs. And PS4 has just released last Friday. This is actually Tuesday, the Tuesday before the Xbox One releases. So the PS4 has been out for a couple of days now, and we're starting to see what the results of the PS4 release is. There has been some talk about the blue light of death for the PS4, and that hasn't exactly been good marketing for it. And also with PS4s actually selling out in many of the stores, the retail stores that the PS4 has been sold out of, it's going to create a lot more demand for when the Xbox One comes out, because Xbox One, Microsoft has been saying that they're going to be putting extra Xbox One consoles in certain retail stores that are marked by their brand, so that they can be able to sell more besides the pre-orders on day one. So all the people who weren't able to get PS4 day one, or day 2, or day 3, or day 4 are going to be starting to think, well, it's an extra $100, but maybe it'd be an okay idea. And it's only a certain small percentage who's going to be thinking that. But that small percentage can equal out to a couple hundred customers eventually, when you start to think about all the people who were rejected by PS4 only being able to be sold to a certain amount of people. And with the amount of pre-orders for the Xbox One not being, if I remember correctly, not being as many as PS4, you can expect a lot more free up consoles, a lot of free spaces for consoles to be sold to for people. And I'm just saying, personally, I haven't been much up on this next generation, Generation 8, as you can tell from my previous video. I'm not really super excited. I don't really get super excited at the beginning of a generation because, yeah, there's potential, but you really can't tell how far that potential goes until that potential actually gets got. You get to see like 3 or 4 or 5 games that's going to be launched with, but then after that, it's really a little bit unknown what's going to be happening in the future. Me personally, I always like to look back on the previous releases for the said console to be able to tell me what I'm going to be wanting for my next console purchase, and that's what pushed me towards the Xbox One. Because not only am I a fan of Dead Rising 3, which is an Xbox One exclusive, I'm also a fan of most of the other games that Xbox 360 put out in the past, which I understand you're trying to tell the future by the past, but that's kind of what I got to go on to be able to tell from here on out. Games like Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2, who were on Xbox 360, Halo, I'm a pretty big fan of Halo, Fallout 3, which if I remember correctly, was originally released as an Xbox 360 exclusive, if I remember correctly. And feel free in the comment section below to tell me how completely wrong I am, but I think it was an Xbox 360 exclusive at the beginning of its release. But from those couple of games, I can judge that if Microsoft continues on that trajectory, I'll like some of the rest of the games that come out with it as exclusives. PS3, I'm not a gigantic fan of Uncharted. The story is great, the gameplay is great, but the main character kind of puts me off. It's not really... I really don't like Nathan Drake that much as a character, or kind of as a person. Not that much as a person. Not really as a person. I don't like him much as a person, not really. Even though the guy who voiced him voiced Deadpool, which was awesome. I love that game. That game was awesome. Man, that game was awesome. And I'm kind of getting sidetracked again, but the main point I wanted to put up into this video was that I'm feeling about the new console generation, and I'm not really sure whether I'm going to be getting it, 2 or 3 months in the future, or like 6 or 7 months in the future when a large library of games for it are out then. But that's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and feel free to, like I said, comment below the video. I'd love to hear your questions, ideas about other videos I could possibly do, or that Dominic and me can do. We've actually been talking about maybe, commenting together on a specific subject, on one solo subject. Of course, with him actually sticking to the subject, of me jumping around to multiple different tiny subjects that have really nothing to do with the main core subject. But that's just an idea. So, in the comments below, if you have a suggestion, we'll listen to it. And thank you very much. I'm Lucas, on Opinions.